AgWeek weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
What kind of weather can we expect as we kick off the month of December? Here's John with our Agri-weather outlook.
Over about the second half of November, some pretty cold weather dropped down into the northern plains, the central part of the country. Now it looks like that is going to begin to shift more toward the Great Lakes and the northeastern United States and back up toward Hudson Bay. So as that happens, the Great Lakes get the heavier snows, and it's mostly of the lake effect variety. And in the Great Plains, we're starting to see milder weather build up, and it looks like that will continue through the mid part of December. It'll go back and forth a little bit, but generally a little bit milder weather pattern. Jet stream pattern winds coming a little bit out of the southwest, but that's temporary. The split flow, that suggests a fairly weak jet stream, and at least for this week, we do have a little bit of a resurgence of freezing weather, at least into the northern plains and the Great Lakes. The frigid air, though, the really cold stuff, is remaining up north. Notice how as we go through the middle part of the week, though, we start seeing split flow, and that primary jet stream begins to shift a little further to the north. What we're beginning to see here is the beginning of some ridging taking place out in the northern Rockies and the western part of the continent, and that will eventually draw some milder weather back into the northern plain states. By the end of the week, look for another pretty big thaw with just weather in the 30s and maybe some 40s up as far north as southern parts of Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Now, the frigid weather will still be there, and the primary branch of the jet stream will be attached to some pretty cold weather, but in this configuration, that will likely mostly remain pretty far to the north. So it'll stay cold up north. I don't see any grand intrusions of cold weather. The higher elevations of the Rockies will likely stay pretty cold. And toward the end of the pattern, as we get toward about the 20th or so of December, there is some signal that we may start getting a little bit more southwest to northeast flow, which would pull down some colder air and also signify maybe a chance for some precipitation. The precipitation will be more active in the eastern part of the U.S. in this period. For this first week, northern plains look fairly dry. Most of the Great Plains, nuisance little sprinkles and light snow showers, but no organized significant moisture expected. There will be lake effect snows, rain and snow mix, and rain as a couple of storm systems, especially late in the period, move up along the east coast. Southwest looks pretty dry. Now, as we move on into the second week, this is mid-December until just before Christmas now, there are some signs of things beginning to get a little more active with some snow back up into the western Great Lakes, which would not be lake effect, but an actual weather system. And there will be some, again, continued wet weather in the southeast. Southwest still looks fairly dry, and there will be scattered precipitation in the far west.